Hi everybody, we're out here at the flying field and we just got done putting a switch through its paces. We had a chance to fly it in both the high wing and the mid wing configuration. Kurt did most of the flying. I got my hands on it for a while to see what it felt like. And Kurt, give me a quick overview of what your initial thoughts were.
Well, it's kind of neat to pull it out and have a plane, the same exact plane with the same power plant, same battery, and you just switch the wings from a high wing to a mid wing. It's going to fly best in one of those configurations. Sure. Naturally, it's designed around one of those particular configurations. So we pulled it out, we threw it up in the air, we flew it, and it was a lot of fun. And it was, I think regardless of the experience, just being able to switch and kind of re-experience the plane was an exciting thing for us. Let's go ahead and jump into the review. We'll start with the high wing. Now what we've done on the review is we've covered the model characteristics on the 5x5. It's the same between both planes. Ground handling, power plant, things like that aren't going to change between the wing configurations. So we've given it one score on the model configuration, but then when we move into pilot experience, we went ahead and gave it a separate review for high wing and a separate review for mid wing. Yeah. So we'll start off with high wing configuration, model characteristics, and pilot experience.
Okay, it's build as advertised, our first category. We gave it a 5 out of 5. We found the switch to be exactly what it was advertised as far as the build. Very simple to, as you can see on film, very simple to switch from high wing to mid wing configuration.
And uniquely so, on the build as advertised, with the switch, when you pull it out of the box, it's a high quality model.
Yes, it is.
There's a lot of thought behind it. All of the fastening points, all of the pieces, precision cut inside the
the
EPO
use of
foam,
the magnets.
everything. It's just a very smart design. So you can tell there's a lot of thought behind the switch. And regardless of its flying capability, the model is extremely well constructed.
Yes. Finish, we gave it a 4 out of 5. Very, as Kurt just mentioned, very nicely done plane. A lot of thought.
It's a foamy. Foamies only get so high on the scale.
Well, sure. But as far as foamies go, it's a nice looking plane.
Absolutely.
Very sharp looking. Power, we gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Now this has got the Thunder Tiger or the Super Tiger 10 in it, and we really had no problem. Ground handling, takeoffs, as far as takeoffs. I mean, pulling out of any maneuvers or any trouble you might get yourself in, it seemed to be very aptly suited for this plane.
Absolutely, 4.5 out of 5 is fair. It's good in both configurations, and it's not, you're not going to be flying on the wing. You're going to be flying on the prop. It's got a lot of thrust. So. And it's not going to do hovers. You're not going to pull out. It doesn't have a greater thrust to weight ratio. Yeah. It's a little less than 1-to-1, but it's very good for the model.
Ground handling, we gave it a 4 out of 5. Now the ground handling, we were a little disappointed with the ground handling. Once you got power over the wing and the rudder started working, you had ample control on the ground. Our problem, or our disappointment, came in the tail wheel.
The tail wheel itself has
Very
kind of
flimsy.
a cantilever design to where you don't get the same turning radius from the wheel that you do from the rudder. Yeah, it reaches out further than the rudder with a small mechanical lever, and that turns the rudder, the wheel, the tail wheel. So you don't get a very sharp turning. No. So we have what I'd consider to be a typical flying field runway. Yeah. The width is about 2 real car lengths wide, a car widths wide, and we couldn't turn within that radius. No. We could if we kind of played with the wind and whipped the tail around into it, but you're not going to actually drive it on the ground within that radius. So it's a little wide turner. Now, on the other hand, the front landing gear is very well made. It's very well designed. It's a very wide stance, much like a 3D plane you'd expect. And it was real stable, and it's a nice shock absorption. Yes. So that really bumped the scale up, so it leveled out.
Yeah, it did. What you'll find with the tail wheel, too, is it wants to lay sideways, left and right.
Yeah, we're going to post a mod that we did on ours just to stiffen that up a little bit using some carbon fiber tubes. So we'll make sure that's on the website as well. If you go to www.2bfly.com and look under the review for the FlyZone switch, you'll see that tail wheel modification we did, and it did help a lot.
It made a big difference, Okay, durability, we gave it a 4.5 out of 5. We did have a few small incidents with the plane.
First day we flew, it was very windy.
It was windy, and we did a grass landing just to kind of show how well it handles in the grass, which it handled fantastic in the grass. It really did. But we did hit a small hole, and we hit pretty hard with the.
Yeah, it was a good thump.
By rights, as hard as we hit, it should have ripped the landing gear off, but it did not. It bent it
down,
and we were able to bend it back and keep flying. So we were very impressed with that.
It was very tough.
Definitely. All right, so we're going to get into the pilot experience on the high wing here. Flight is advertised. We gave it a 4 out of 5. Explain, Kurt.
Flight is advertised 4 out of 5 for the high wing configuration. They say it's a trainer. The box is listed as a trainer. It's a quick trainer. It's a slippery trainer. And if you look at some of the trainers out there on the market, you look at the high wing trainers with speed flaps or braking flaps, all these different things that they do to slow them down and make them a little more gentle. And then even some of the under-cambered ones, and some of the other ones we've tested from some other manufacturers, there's a true trainer mindset that you're going to be able to progress from basic orientation and basic flight experience on a simulator, for example, and actually have a successful flight. Even with trainer experience or flight simulator experience, taking this out for the first time, it takes a little more rollout to get it off the ground. It doesn't have it has a symmetrical main wing, so it's going to be more of a deflection wing to get that thing off the ground. It takes a little more speed to get going, so a little less of a trainer in the high wing configuration, but a stable flyer.
Okay. Flight time, we gave it a 4 out of 5. We seemed to get some pretty decent times out of the battery that was supplied.
We did. It was an 1800 milliamp battery that came with the model, and we got decent flight times out of it. I'd say a solid. Going and flying it like a trainer and just getting it up there and running about half throttle, which it was very comfortable flying at about half throttle.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So 50% power, you could zip around, and we dealt with it in about 5 to 8 mile an hour winds the first day, and then maybe gusty 5 mile an hour winds the second day. And it handles half throttle very well. So
one thing you will notice though is if you get horsey with the aerobatics or start pulling a lot of maneuvers that you're using a lot of throttle, you're going to feel that battery heat up. So don't be surprised.
It'll get warm on you, and you're going to pull that 1800 milliamp down pretty quick.
Yeah, it'll go real quick. But if you know,
aggressive flying, I'd say 5 minutes, 5-6 minutes on aggressive flying.
Throttle management, I bet you were getting easy 8 to 9 minutes. We didn't really push it, but we were easily.
Doing some weather vaning and some floating around, just some, not really catching thermals, but just going head in and taking it breezy. We got easy 10-minute flights out of it in high wing configuration.
Field size, we've got a large park or a field. Like Kurt had mentioned, this is a pretty quick plane. It's pretty slippery, and you'll find yourself eating up a lot of sky real quick.
Bringing it in on your glide slope, it's going to go a lot faster than you probably anticipate with that symmetrical wing. So just be ready for that run out. If you're trying to do it in your local park, I think it's going to be a little too small.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, portability, we gave it a 5 out of 5. This system is so sweet the way these wings come apart. With that carbon fiber spar in there, you can a couple of aileron. You take your aileron leads out the wire harness.
We covered it in the earlier section. It's so easy to build it and so easy to disassemble it.
So you can strip it literally down to the fuselage
throw it
and
in
the
your
wings.
car, and it's expanded polyolefin, so the foam is really tough. It's not going to scratch very easy. So.
Skill level in the high wing configuration, beginner, intermediate, I think for the reasons we mentioned a couple minutes ago. Let's take a look at the low wing configuration. Now when it comes to the pilot experience, a few points did change, not all of them, but flight as advertised was, we gave that a 5 out of 5 on a low wing. There is a definite difference when you're watching this plane fly between the high wing and the mid wing. This plane looks like it wants to be a mid-wing plane.
Yeah, it really was designed. I think the thrust line and everything on it was designed to be in that mid-wing. And not to say it's not a great flyer in the high-wing configuration, but it was fun. You started feeling the enjoyment, and in fact, that's what keeps the switch being something I'll hold on to as long as I can and fly just for the enjoyment of being a mid-wing plane. It handles what they say is basic aerobatics. You don't have the deflection under control surfaces with the standard radio out of the box. You can certainly set that up, which makes it a lot more interesting to bring in. If you really get into extreme aerobatics and you want to really start throwing those ailerons and throwing that rudder around and really hitting the elevator, you're going to be able to throw dual rates and pop it down to a more stable and sane way to bring it in and land it, more controllable. So if you want to go with high rates and just start moving the control horns and the servo horns around, you can get more deflection. But as a basic aerobat, absolutely exactly what we expected and what they advertised in the box. Okay, flight time remained the same as in the high wing configuration. Field size same. It's not. Now on the flight time, you will notice it'll be shorter because you're just cranking the sticks. You're just in a mid wing, you're having fun with it. So you're doing loops and rolls, and you're just banking. So watch your time on that because you'll find yourself having one good shot for a landing or to land itself. Believe me. Okay. Portability, same thing. Field size. Field size is the same. Yeah, it was remaining the same. Now it's going to handle a little bit different in that mid wing, but a large park. If you try to squeeze this thing in a very tiny local park, it's too big. It's too fast for it. You want more room to land this thing. On the skill level, we've got the low wing. I think it's more of an intermediate plane. Yeah, it's more intermediate. It's going to slip through the turns a lot more. And Rob, you actually flew it in the mid wing configuration, so. One of the things you noticed right away is it slips. It's a mid-wing plane. It's going to drop, and it has a symmetrical airfoil, so it's going to, as soon as you get it up on a bank, it's going to drop, and you've got to use a lot of rudder control. Not noticeably so. Very typical for a mid or low-wing plane. But things happen a little faster when you've got that thrust line in the center of the plane coming right across the wing. So you're going to see a little faster roll response with it in the mid-wing configuration. So it's going to bump your skill level up a little bit. So, overall, it's truly a unique experience. It's been a joy to fly it. I've really enjoyed flying the Switch a lot, and we've had the good fortune to fly a lot of neat planes. This one definitely stands out. It's something that when you pull it out of the box, from the moment you get it out of the package, you see it. It's just so well built. And then when you get it out of the field, it handles great. Yeah. They really did the thing justice by putting the wide stance landing gear on the front. It really helped it a lot. Yeah. Gave it some nice spring in the grass, which was soft and easy and very controllable. It handles ground effect extremely well. So I think you'll have a lot of fun if you look into picking up the Switch. Yeah. You can see the full review on the FlyZone Switch on the Two Brothers website at tubefly.com. Check on the reviews and you'll see it listed there. If you have any questions that remain unanswered, you can always click on the icon. It's on any of the screens on our website. In the lower left corner, it says Ask Two. It'll send us a message and we'll get back with you as soon as possible. I'm Kurt Gornick with Two Brothers Hobby.
And I'm Rob Gornick. Thanks for watching.